Miss Mavis. Man, she brings love. She's just radiant. And I've met her many times, and she's always that way. The way she is on stage, that's how she is. She's just a loving being, and she has been through some stuff and seen some stuff in this country of ours. And when she was a young girl at the Staple Singers, they played segregated states in the South. They went through Jim Crow. They've seen it. And when they were walking off stage, they being Vince Gill and Mavis grabbed Vince's arm and she said, "Vince, son, we sure have seen some times, haven't we?" Vince said, "Mary, ever since Mavis said that, it's been just on my mind that that's a song, and I can't finish it. Maybe you could help me." I said, "Well, great, man. Tell me what you got going." He had a few chords, and he had a little bit of melody going, and he had some words, but they weren't a story yet. And in the words, he mentioned the Orange Blossom Special. And that's what got my attention. I said, "Hey, tell me about the Orange Blossom Special. I don't know anything. I just know it's a train. So tell me what it is about that." He said, "Well, to be honest, Mary, I don't know shit about the Orange Blossom. I just think it sounds cool." He said, "Well, no, I know one thing. It's a bluegrass. If you're in bluegrass, everybody wants you to play it, so everybody in bluegrass plays it, but nobody likes that song." And a digression off of this story into another story altogether. I was on stage with Emmylou Harris in Nashville, Tennessee, helping her raise money for her dog organization. She rescues older dogs that have health issues, and they find homes for them after they get them healthy. Bonaparte's Retreat, follow them on Instagram and the socials. They are very, very, very good at what they do. They save old dogs, and that's the sweetest thing ever. And so we were on stage helping to raise some money for this organization, and I told that very story, and she said, "You know," I said, right there, she said, "Yeah, you know, they do shout out Orange Blossom Special when you're playing in the bluegrass crowd." And she said, and I don't like that song. And she said, "A guy was shouting it so much at the show, I actually had to say, 'Fuck off.'" I wouldn't lie about the Queen. That came out of her mouth. When I write my book, my second book, those are the stories I need to tell. I couldn't believe she said that. She said, "He made me." Back to the other story that we shot off from, returning to the original story, which is that we need to figure out what the hell we're talking about if we're going to be mentioning the Orange Blossom Special in this song. So I looked it up, and I found out that the Orange Blossom Special was a high-speed luxury train. It rode from Manhattan to Miami in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. There was a woman at the show last night in Boston who had ridden the Orange Blossom Special as a girl, and she said, "I remember that train. It was so nice. It was a luxury train." She said the dining car, you had to get dressed up for dining at the dining car. It was really a great meal and a wonderful environment. And that was the picture that grabbed me, a black and white photo of a waiter in a tuxedo in the dining car. And I reckon that shot was probably from the 40s, and he was standing there with great dignity. He looked like a man with a good job, a man with a job that he could take care of his family with, probably a union job, a good union job. And as I stared at him, I felt the pull to him the way I did Steam Train Maury. I feel like these characters tap me on the shoulder, like the priest, like the hobo. And now this guy that's probably damn near 100 years old, if he's still with us, he's like, "Hey." I'm like, "What?" He said, "I've seen some times." Bingo. I worked the Orange Blossom Special, 48 to 54, Manhattan to Miami. I worked in the dining car. Eisenhower built the interstates and jetliners sailed the skies, and luxury trains were shuttered and the railroads up and died. Sometimes I have seen sometimes. Sometimes I have seen sometimes. They shot JFK and Bobby and Martin Luther King. These days guns are everywhere, Lord, they shooting everything. I saw my first black president, made me so proud I cried. I saw the insurrection, I can't say I was surprised. Sometimes I have seen sometimes. Sometimes I've seen sometimes. I am an old man now, my life is almost done, but in my heart I do believe we shall overcome. So I pray for this world of sorrow, for a better tomorrow, that we might get there without a loaded gun. My wife of 60 years died 7 years ago. When I dream about her, in my dreams we are not old. If you see a locomotive rolling down the line, would you stop and think about us when you hear a whistle whine? Sometimes I have seen sometimes. Sometimes I have seen sometimes.